Mr. Happy Living here, and I'm happy to be broadcasting from WYTV7 in the beautiful Queen City, Charlotte, North Carolina, USA. Hey, friends, will you join me for a minute and imagine how wonderful you'd feel living the unique and distinct life that you were put on this planet to live, doing work you love, with people you love, in places you love, and all the while creating something of real value to others. Well, that's what I call a life of significance. And I can tell you it makes a very happy life. And so can my friend Patricia Wade-Goings. She's my guest star today, and she's here to share her unique and distinct journey to her life of significance. But before I bring her on, I'd like to share a poem that we created to thank her for being our guest star today. It's called Setting Hearts Free, and it goes like this. Through trials and storms, Patricia stands strong. With God by her side, she sings her song, a fierce prayer warrior, unwavering and bright, ignited by spirit, radiating his light. Her story of hope inspires and heals, a journey of courage, strength, and zeal, inspire and uplift her powerful aim to help others rise above their pain and shame. Listen in close, her story's profound, unshakable love that knows no bounds. On the Something Significant show, tune in and you'll see a life of purpose, boldly setting hearts free. Hey, Patricia, welcome to the show.
That was awesome, man. Awesome. Thank you for inviting me to be your guest today.
Very good. So why don't you just get us started by telling us what you're doing these days to make your mark of significance on the world?
Well, I'm producing my first play, and it's called When Praise Becomes My Purpose. We praise with purpose. And this is a story, it's reality, it's revival, restoration, and redemption. Because at the end of the day, we all need a revival. In God's will, we are restored, and redemption does happen for those that believe. And so that's what I'm working on. In addition, as a prayer intercessor for several other networks, my very own show, Midnight Prayer Cry, writing the second book, and we're just keeping it moving and also being an advocate for our church and community at large.
Very good. Give a quick description of your first book, and then I didn't see anything about your second book. So tell us about your first and then what you're planning for your second.
The first book is called Willpower, The Call to Rise Above, and it is available on Amazon. And it is my life story of the trials and the tribulations and how we overcome life hurdles. You know, we go through so many turmoils in life, and sometimes it seems impossible to get through. But knowing, as we did, a place called through, there is hope. And so that's what that book is about. The second book to come next year in 2025, it's called The Rain. After the Rain, Praise with Purpose. And that is all about the celebration of life, praising God for who he is, and what he is still yet to do.
And how do you spell rain?
And rain is just like it said, R-A-I-N. Rain.
Oh, so after the rain, not the Lord's rain, but the rain.
Yeah, it's actually
okay.
The physical rain. And why I chose that, man, is real quickly to share with you, you know, when it does rain, you know, we all get excited about when it's pouring down from the sky, but we don't think about what actually happens, what has transpired after that rainstorm. So remember back in biblical days, when after the first rain came after the storm, and the dove was sent out to see what was going on. So this is why we decided to do this after the rain, to bring back thought and memories of after what God has created us to be and who we are created to be.
That's great. I love it. Great, Patricia. Now let's do a little mathematics so our friends all around the world can get to know you through our happy formula. It's a really simple formula, but it's powerful too. And it goes like this: power plus purpose equals happy. So let's start with power. What are your personal practices for building up all the power that you need to get things done, whether that's physically or mentally or financially or spiritually or emotionally? In other words, Patricia, what do you do on a regular basis to create all the power you need to take really good care of yourself and your loved ones and still have plenty left over so you can be a giver to others?
Well, man, I would love to say that I just get plenty of rest, but that just doesn't happen all the time. But I do pray daily. I pray regularly. I make prayer a habit. It's not just, you know, a once in a while thing, but I pray daily. And sometimes even when we're working on things or just writing, I'll begin to pray and seek the Lord even more, because seeking God gives me the strength to do the tasks that he has assigned me. God has anointed me, He's appointed me, and called me into ministries. And in order for me to have an impact and also to inspire others, I have to make sure that I am correct. And the only way I can do that is in my relationship with God.
Very good. Okay, Patricia, now let's discuss my favorite power generating concept. It's called a Kaizen state of mind. And it's this beautiful Japanese idea that small incremental improvements add up over time to yield great big results. And I love it because it's based on mindset, not circumstance. Kaizening life is knowing there's always something I can do better tomorrow than today. And it creates an optimistic, gentle, but very powerful and continuously uplifting of my life day after day after day. So, Patricia, how does Kaizening your life help you increase your power to continuously become more so you can continuously give more?
Well, my thing is with that, man, is I can't forget who I am, who I've been chosen to be. I can't forget my past. You know, a lot of people like to say, forget the past, but the past is what's brought me to where I am now. Without my past, I wouldn't be who I am. I would not be able to do the things that I can do at this point. So I never forget that past. Even though some things in my past have been really horrific, I still can't let go. But I remember it to a certain point to help inspire my own self, because a lot of times we do have to step in and encourage our own selves in order to be that light, that beacon of hope for someone else. So what I do on a daily basis is I pray, I meditate. Yes, I do get some rest, and I make sure that I try to eat healthier, so that I can be a positive, somebody for somebody else. It's all about encouraging each other. And if we can't do that, oh, well, we got to go back and check ourselves. And I have checked myself several times, but I'm all about helping and encouraging others.
So the idea with Kaizen is you've taken a little step, and then you next day you take another step, and the next day you take another step. And so in both the last two questions, you came back with prayer. So how has your prayer life continuously, has it, I imagine it's improved over time because you've gotten better at it and better at it, or you've already placed one prayer and now you can go and add the other one because this one's already there. So talk about how this concept of small incremental improvements add up over time to improve your prayer life, or to improve your book writing, or to improve your outreach to communities.
Well, it's really a mindset. It's what you desire for yourself. Without knowing who you are, what you desire to do, and who you want to be, I mean, you really have to take those back steps in order to get to that place. I mention prayer a lot because that's who I am. I am a prayer intercessor. I am a prayer warrior. I intercede and I pray for others, faithfully. And so you'll hear me all the time mention that. But to step back to who I really am, I can never forget who I was. And so because of who I was and who I am now, that has made the bigger steps come a more reality for me. So every day I'm often reminded of something, somewhere, or even somebody who has encouraged and lifted me up. And that's my goal to do to somebody else. So those are my steps that I take daily to look back, reflect, and bring myself to where I am now.
Very good. All right, let's explore purpose. That's our second element of the happy formula. And I've observed that the great big life transformations or big discoveries of purpose, sadly, often come from devastation. It could be addiction, abuse, disease, death, disaster. Something awful strips a life to its core, resulting in a big and often unexpected change. However, in my book, Turning Inspiration into Action, I share the transformational process I've used to discover the purpose of my life using inspiration. So how about you, Patricia? Was there a specific moment or event or crisis or inspiration that revealed to you the God-given purpose you were meant to live?
I would answer yes to that, man. One that I can, I guess, relate to today being that we are in Breast Cancer Awareness Month in October, celebrating 9 years of being a breast cancer survivor. When I first got my diagnosis, it was horrific. It was life-changing. I didn't know how I was going to get over that. When the doctor said, this is where you are, I was like, no, not me. But it changed my life and it
How
helped
long,
me
how,
today.
how long ago was that?
9 years exactly. 9 years this month, actually.
Oh my
And
goodness.
so I had to, when I got the diagnosis, nobody wants to hear that word, first of all, breast cancer, because you already have, the stigma of, but I got past that. And so I'm reminded really on a daily basis about my survival. And that helps me now to move forward to help other survivors and even people, in terms of just raising the awareness, not just about breast cancer, but any health challenge. Where I live at in South Carolina, there's so many health disparities going on here. So as an advocate, I try to inspire those people by doing the work. I do the research, I'll connect them with other people, and that's what I do daily. I'm a connecting person.
So help help me and the audience understand that in the years, your life leading up to 9 years ago, before that diagnosis of breast cancer, and you were one way, you were Patricia
Mhm. I
pre-cancer,
was Patricia.
and then the cancer happened, and talk about the struggle, how did you just immediately get through it? Did you really
Oh
sink
no.
into a depression? How long was that? And then what was the change that got you out of it? What was the catalyst for the change? And then how did you change as a person?
Well, what happened, Matt, is during the time of the chemotherapy and the radiation, God has his own way of bringing us through things. And I was so blessed that I met a young lady, a very young girl, who had just given birth to her first child. And this lady was facing a double mastectomy.
Hmm.
And I was sitting in the room waiting, for my chemo to start. And the nurses came over and they said that I looked as though I just was lost. And I felt so lost. I didn't know what to expect. I couldn't really even accept that I'm sitting in this chair getting treatment for breast cancer.
Hmm.
But that young lady, who I named her Maria in the book, uh, she really picked me up. Her
Hmm.
mother came and sat with her every day. They began to bring magazines to me, even though I
Hmm.
was rejecting things. I didn't want anybody near me. They
Hmm.
asked me if I wanted to watch TV, and I almost like, I just didn't want to hear anything. But that young lady and her mother, they stood there faithful with me every single day. Every time I got there for treatment, they were already there. They
Hmm.
were my pick me up people. And so that really let me know that I could survive. And so
Hmm.
after we went through the surgery, when the doctor said, okay, you have stage 3, and I'm like, I'm now real scared now. But I am so thankful to God for who he is, because God said, oh no, man said 3, but God said stage 2. And so when
Hmm.
he went back and they started doing all these x-rays, because now they're like, well, where did it come from? Because everybody's looking, they had to come from somewhere. But
Hmm.
the God that we serve to this day, thank God for who he is, they cannot even find any trace. They don't know where it came from.
Oh,
The
wonderful.
surgery was done. I went through the chemo and the radiation, and the doctors was like, oh my God, you're the first, because we don't see anything else. We don't even know how you got to this point. But that really changed me a lot, because it was life threatening. And I had been in so many incidents before, but that it was personal. It affected me, my mind, my body, and who I was and who I was becoming. And so, because of that, I found more strength. I found energy. I found the encouragement that I need. But most of all, I found the power and the love of God. And that transformed me totally to who I am today.
Hmm. That's beautiful. So it was, did you say Marie was the young lady's name?
Her name was Maria.
And
Yes.
Maria in the book. So they helped you out of it. How long and how deep of a hole were you in? Were you just kind of a real mess?
I was really, really, really a mess.
Yeah.
I would go in for treatments, man, and they had the TVs playing, and I would stare at the TV. But to be honest with you, I didn't even know what I was watching. The nurses and the techs would come and give me the pat on the shoulder and say you're
Mm-hmm.
doing a good job, and I would like shove my shoulder because I didn't want anybody to touch me. I felt filthy. I felt nasty.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like that feeling of me having to sit here and watch all these other people going through, but yet now I'm affected by this, and I just could not relate to it at all. But this young girl, Maria, who I will never forget,
Mhm.
She was so reassuring to me because, like I said, she's a very young girl compared to my age. And she was dealing with a double mastectomy and just had her first child. But this girl
Mhm.
had so much courage, so much
Mhm.
life. She was so vibrant. And I mean, her and her mother were just sitting there laughing. And I'm like, really? I
Mhm.
just could not picture that. But they gave me that ray of hope that I really, really needed. And I must say, the technicians, actually, I saw one of the ladies, the breast cancer navigator, just last week. And after 9 years, we are the best of friends. Actually, we're planning a trip to go to Kenya next year on a mission with them. So,
Wow.
you
And
know,
so
there
the big change, how would you describe? You said you found strength and courage and all that. Is it from a stronger relationship with God? Was that the primary transformation for you?
yes, I would say the primary thing was that God allows me to go through that to
Hmm.
show me that who he is. We always say God is a healer, but he was proving to me that I am not healing you just physically, but I'm healing you mentally. But
Hmm.
it was because of the fact that I had been chosen for this season to go through that
Hmm.
helped me now to get through and encourage and inspire somebody else. So yes, mostly for me, it was that empowerment of God that was speaking within me and now helping me to birth out what he spoke
Yeah.
inside of me.
And did you have a strong relationship with God before your cancer?
I would say I did, but it
Yeah.
was greatly improved afterwards because I remember coming out of surgery, and there's a church song that we often sing, I am free, I am free. I'm no longer bound, no more chains holding me down. My soul is resting, it's just a blessing. Praise the Lord, hallelujah, I'm free. And so, when they bring you off of the one bed and try to get you onto the next one, I was sitting up singing, and everybody standing in the room like, really? But I was free. I was no longer bound. There was
Yeah.
nothing there to hold me down anymore. So
Yeah.
I get excited now when I think about that. But yes, I sat up and I sang all day. And one of my friends who was a doctor there on staff, he came in the room. And I mean, he just started praising God. And he was like, look at you. You look like you 16. I was like, I wish. But yeah, it was God that really he did something really significant in my life there.
All right. Very, very good. That's wonderful, Patricia. Let's take a quick commercial break so our audience, or so our sponsor can spread a little love with our audience. Mr. Happy Living here. I love good things made for good people. That's why I love Happy Living's online e-course. It's an 8-week long deep dive into you and the inspired life you want to live. The life you were put here on this earth to live. The one that you and only you can live. 8 weeks of lectures and ideas and topics and supporting materials and powerful self-improvement tools. All designed for you. All designed to help you create the tools and the power and the confidence you need to discover your purpose and to discover the life you were meant to live and to feel incredibly inspired and motivated to decide you will live your life to its fullest. It's all designed to help you create the unique and distinct philosophy of you and your inspired life. Go to happyliving.com, select our e-course, and save $100 with promo code WYTV7. And for every enrollment, I'll donate another $100 to WITV7. For $300 and about 30 hours, I promise you'll never, ever be the same again. And we're back, and this is the Something Significant Show, and I'm your host, Matt Gersper. And my special guest star today is Patricia Wade-Goings. She's a passionate evangelist, author, and community leader whose faith-driven mission inspires countless lives. As host of A Place Called Through and author of Willpower, The Call to Rise Above, Patricia shares her own journey through the challenges of life to uplift others. Her heartfelt story, live stage productions, and unwavering dedication She empowers people to find hope, purpose, and resilience through faith, encouraging everyone to rise above life's storms. Oh, Patricia, I love that. And I think you're going to love this article that I found called The Science Behind the Power of Giving. It tells us that the act of giving itself can be a gateway to discovering your reason for being on the planet. It says science tells us that giving our time and talents and treasures is a powerful pathway for discovering purpose and overcoming difficulties and finding fulfillment and meaning in life. So I went ahead and updated our formula. Power plus purpose plus giving equals really happy. So how about you, Patricia? Has giving your time, talents, and treasures been a pathway for discovering your purpose and for helping you get past difficulties that you've faced and for bringing real meaning into your life?
Absolutely, man. I had the privilege of working with a non-profit group here, and it's a food pantry, and I've been doing it so long until we lost count after 30 years of volunteering. And it just gives me such delight to be able to help somebody. Even with the play production, when praise becomes my purpose, how it is uplifting to people, how people are finding themselves, and how people are now looking at life differently. That brings a lot of joy to me to know that even if I've only touched just one person, that makes the difference for me. Then I know that what I've been called to do and that what I am doing, that it is working and it's helping. And so my purpose and my goal and that ray of hope is to help somebody else.
Yeah, yeah. And so the science tells us that giving to others helps bring real meaning to our lives. And the joy that we feel that you were describing from that fourth element of significance, doing work that creates value for others, that confirms it. But there's something more to it than just the giving, Patricia. I believe that the real magic of life comes when you're giving from living in your purpose. So, Patricia, the audience and I would like to know how it makes you feel to be happily living your life and giving to others through the work you were put on this planet to do, and the people all around you have taken notice. So please sit back, open your heart, and have a listen to what people are saying about the impact you're making on their lives by finding the magic of giving from living in your purpose. One person said, Patricia Wade-Goings understands God's word and tries to live by it. Another said, Patricia stays full of hope through the many conundrums, devastations, and hardships that she's gone through. A reader of your book called it an empowering story. Others described you nice to work with, a woman of vision, a positive role model, compassionate, encouraging, and kind, expressive, dedicated, giving, faithful, powerful, a leader in the community, church, and neighborhood, a motivator, a prayer warrior, a woman of God. And finally, this person said, Patricia's mission is to spread the word, the love of Christ, and be an example for others to follow and to look up to.
Oh my.
So, Patricia, how does all that incredible love make you feel?
Wow. That's true love. That's true love. And I'm glad that the life that I live is setting an example for others. It's truly an honor to know that people look at me in that way. A lot of times we don't see our own selves, who we are in our work and in our giving and supporting. We just do it because it comes so natural to us. But to know that there are so many other people that are impacted by the work and the service and time that I give is just so overwhelming, and I'm just loving it. So that also, Matt, has really just picked me up a little bit more to make me continue doing what I do. Because I know I can't save everybody. I may not be able to help everybody, but just to know that maybe there's one more that I will be able to help just brings me so much joy.
Well, you said something that's really important. That's what I want our audience to hear is it's when you found your purpose, it's easy for you, easier, because you're just doing what you do, but other people can't do it. So if I happen to be a really great auto mechanic, which I'm not, and you happen to come over and I fixed your carburetor and I said it was nothing, and you're thinking, oh no, Matt, you're a genius. My car wasn't working and now it's working. And I'm thinking, what are you talking about? I just fixed your carburetor. And so I think that's the gig. If you can, I want our audience to find that magic. That's what this show is all about, finding the magic in each of our lives. And it's available to every one of us. That's what I believe. And it comes from this great big happy circle. Giving your time, talents, and treasures is a powerful pathway for discovering your purpose, your reason for being here. And giving from living in your purpose brings a profound joy to your life, as you've described, but also to the lives of those around you. So it seems that giving leads to purpose, and giving from purpose leads to joy. So, Patricia, to capture the entire exponential power of our happy formula, let me tweak it just a little bit more. It'll be power times purpose times giving equals happy to the third power. And that's really, truly, deeply happy. Does that sound about right to you?
That does. I mean, because really you have to have a purpose, and we also say praise with a purpose, and giving is essential to happiness. Blessed are those that give, because by us giving, we're able to help someone else and be happy. I mean, for me, as I just stated with the food pantry, just giving out, if it's only a loaf of bread or a bag of rice or a can of beans, that person may be in really dire need of it, but they are appreciative even if they're not in dire need. So that's the happiness that we see in fulfilling what our purpose is, to help others.
Yep, that's it. That's it. Okay, let's wrap things up the lightning round, Patricia. I love the power of words and the capacity for great quotes to change lives. So I'm going to read a few of my favorites and have you tell us what they mean to you, and give us the first thing that pops to mind, because we call this a lightning round. Here we go. This is from Denzel Washington. He said, "It's not just what you have, but it's what you do with what you have. Who are you lifting up? Who are you making better?"
And that is a true statement there. It goes back to the impact, having that positive effect for others to follow behind you, setting that example, being that role model, and we can't always just hand it to you, but in my case, I like to provide resources. So if I can't do it, I find a way to help you. So I like that, giving and being who you are.
Yeah. This is from Lao Tzu. He said, "Being deeply loved by someone gives you strength, while loving someone deeply gives you courage."
Strength is significant to everyday living. There are days when we are weak, and there are days where we are stronger, when we're full of strength. But to God we praise, who gives us that strength every day to move forward from day to day to night. And so that strength will turn into courage, because the stronger that you are, the more enforced you are, you're empowered, and you will have that courage to do what's needed.
Very good. This is from Mother Teresa. She said, "It's not how much we give, but how much love we put into the giving."
Once again, I would use that example of just giving somebody a can of beans. It may not be a bag full of groceries, but just that simple one thing. And I've seen it because people have come through our lines, and other pantries are giving out 4 and 5 bags of food, and we may only have one. But the thankfulness that these people are really so appreciative, they'll be like, "God bless you for all you're doing." And I mean, really, honestly, from my heart and from what I hear, they come through and "God bless you for your work." And they are so appreciative of just that one bag. So we give out of our heart's desire, and that is to help.
Yeah. This one I came from my morning reading today, and it just seemed perfect for this interview. It's from Ephesians chapter 2, verse 10. It says, "For we are God's workmanship, created in Christ Jesus to do good works, which God prepared to advance for us to do."
We are created for good work. A lot of times it takes almost a life journey to find out what your purpose is. But the thing is that we do find our purpose. That's what's really, important here, to know that God does have a purpose for each one of us.
Yeah.
My purpose may be so different from yours, and yours may be different from the next person, but we have to believe, and we do have to know that, yes, God does have a purpose for everybody that does believe, trusts in God, and He'll bring you through to that purpose. It took me a long time to get to this point that I am, but I am ever so thankful that I have arrived where I am, and I wouldn't trade it for anything else, because I do know that I do have a purpose, and I praise with a purpose.
Yes, ma'am. And listeners, we talk about it all the time. If you haven't found your purpose, keep looking for it, pray for it, be patient for it, but don't give up, because once you find it, it changes your life, doesn't it, Patricia?
Absolutely, 100%. It will change.
Okay, a few more. This is from Matthew chapter 19, verse 26. It says, Jesus looked at them and said, with man, this is impossible, but with God, all things are possible. It reminds me a little bit of, you said man said stage 3 cancer, but God said stage 2. So give us your thoughts on that one, Patricia.
Yes, man will say things are impossible because a lot of times we don't believe it because a lot of times if we don't see it, and an example is I'm dealing with, the sales for the production. And because I can't see 400 people, sometimes we do not want to believe. But God said, if you believe in him and trust in him, he also said in the word, lean not to what? Our own understanding, but in him, if we acknowledge him in all things, then all things, yes, are going to be possible, but we do have to believe. So I keep that hope alive by believing and trusting, knowing that, okay, whatever the situation is, God is still in control. So we have to be encouraged again, as we said earlier. Encourage yourself sometimes. You just pat yourself on the shoulder and say it's okay. I mean, because everything is not going to always be 100 every day, but we
Right.
have to give thanks for what it is.
That's right.
So
Okay,
encourage yourself.
this is from Melody Carlson. It's a little long, but I think you'll like it. So it says, I have become convinced that God thoroughly enjoys fixing and saving things that are broken. That means no matter how hurt or defeated you feel, no matter how badly you have been damaged, God can repair you. God can give anyone a second chance.
And that he does. We have his promise. His promise is to love us, and he does. He loves us wholeheartedly. Sometimes, it takes us a lifetime to say, okay, Lord, I love you. I surrender it all to you. But when you have that peace of mind and you have that love and that joy, one of my closings on a lot of my correspondences now, blessing, love, peace, and joy. And that's who God is. He's a blesser, he's a healer, he's a comforter. He brings that joy to you, but you have to be ready to receive it. He will give if you will receive. So, yes, I definitely say in God, there's hope. There's hope in yourself. You just have to believe in yourself for who you are and who you are willing to become.
Yeah, very good. This is from Goth. It's our show anchor. And he said, whatever you can do or dream you can do, begin it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. Begin it now.
Boldness. I love boldness.
Mm,
Sometimes, and that's called stepping out on faith.
yeah.
We have to be bold in the things that we do as a servant. We can't be that laid back, the couch potato person. We have to be bold in the word. We have to be bold in our action. If you're going to make an impact and if you're going to help someone else, you have to be willing sometimes to go above and beyond. You have to be willing to be bold with whatever you do. So yes, that word alone, boldness, it just gets me flowing because I tend to be that bold person. So I love that. Yeah, I'm a bold person.
Very
Not
good.
always have I been, but I am now.
Very good. Very good. Okay, now, folks, it's your chance to be a giver too. If you can hear my voice and you were inspired by today's show with Patricia Wade-Goings, please share a little love with our magnificent broadcast team by giving what you can to WITV7. They're a 501c3 charity on a mission to educate, empower, and encourage. They do good works with your kindness. Patricia, I love your unshakable faith and the way you channel your life's journey into powerful inspiration for others. And I admire your dedication to helping people discover God's strength, hope, and resilience, even in the most challenging moments. And I'm super happy that you've shared your compassionate, God-centered, purpose-driven spirit on our show today. Would you please take a minute or two and share any parting remarks you'd like to leave with our audience?
Well, I just like to really encourage everybody that's watching. And again, I thank you and WITV7 for this wonderful opportunity to share my story in a few words. I want to invite everybody to support our ministry. We do a midnight prayer cry every third Friday night. Also, the upcoming stage play of When Praise Becomes My Purpose. My closing words would be to you, don't be discouraged. No matter what the situation looks like, just know that in God, all things are possible. As the word does say, sometimes we have to, just let go and let God. And so I want to say to your listeners and to you, Matt, and to your audience, let go and let God, because again, we are created with purpose. Our purpose is to praise. So praise with a purpose and know that God loves you, and so do I.
Very good. Thank you, Patricia. I also want to thank WITV7 for hosting and promoting our show so we can keep interviewing inspiring guest stars like Patricia and reaching folks just like you ready to create your own extraordinary lives. And most especially, thank you, viewers and listeners. You'll find links to social media and all things Patricia Wade-Goings. Find her, friend her, buy her book, and listen to her podcast too. You'll find all the links in the show notes. From me to you, dear friends, I love you and I want you to be really, truly, deeply happy too. So go to happyliving.com right now and download our free mini but mighty ebook called Making Your Mark of Significance. And once you've read the book, and it really only takes about 30 minutes or so, then give some thought about what we can do together, you and me, to improve the happy of your world, one person at a time. Till next time, I'm Matt Gersper. You are awesome. And this is the Something Significant Show. And we're out.